Welcome to another warm up. We are practicing these warm ups, uh, giving it our all. We are really taking it through the paces. We're taking them through all 12 keys. This warm up is as good as any of the 12 that we have for you. In fact, it might be my favorite because this really locks in secondary dominance in a way that's so incredibly useful. And it adds an element of suspension to the secondary dominant that you see all the time. What is that element to the secondary dominant? Hi, it is the secondary 2/5. We're going to add a 2 chord to each of the dominant chords. Now we're going to start the way that we've started most of the warm-ups, starting from when I started doing these on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Shorts, and that's we just take the diatonic 7th chords up the scale. So 1 through 7, these are the 7th chords that are made up of the major scale. And we're going to do this for each key. Got our metronome set here to 60 beats per minute. Get to your piano. Let's practice this together. Let's just do the first line all the way up here. We've got a nice drop 2 voicing, right? Remember, we can tell if something is drop 2 or drop 3 by just taking the lowest note here. In this case, it's the C. And take it up an octave. If we take it up an octave, we notice that the C in this shape is the second note from the top. That's how you can tell if a big spread voicing is drop 2 or drop 3. So if it were drop 3, it would be this, right? Because if we took that C up the octave, it would be the third note from the top. But with the E on top here, that's a drop 2 voicing. We basically just take these all the way up the C major scale, moving all these notes up the C major scale. Let's try it. 2, 3, and. Let's try it again. 2, 3, and. And you might think 1 chord, 2, 3, 4 chord, 5, 6, 7. Back to the octave. Okay, now we're going to add what we've been adding for this entire course and for most of these shorts. Most of them are about adding some tension to these diatonic 7th chords via things like tritone subs or secondary diminished, or in this case, secondary dominants. And that's what we're going to be doing, is adding a secondary dominant. And this is a drop 3 secondary dominant. How can we tell it's drop 3? Take the lowest note and move it back up the octave. It's the third note from the top. That's a drop 3. So we're going to add these drop 3 voicings, third in the bass, going to each of our diatonic 7th chords. This gives us some great voice leading. It's contrary motion on the outside. Remember, these secondary dominants, they're just the dominant chord from a fourth below your target, right? So we're going to E7, we're going to use the B7, right? It's just a simple dominant chord. Let's try the second line here, adding these dominant chords. 1, 2, 3, and. Now, a great way to think about these is where they're going. So you might think about this. Dominant to the 2, dominant to the 3, dominant to the 4, dominant to the 5, dominant to the 6, and dominant to the 1. Now we're going to skip the 7th because the 7th is kind of hard to tonicize. You can do it, but it's got its own rules and it's got its own situation. So we're just going to ignore it for these warm-ups because I feel like it. I don't want to do it. So let's look at sort of the meat of what this warm-up is all about. It's really all about adding a 2 to each one of these dominant chords. So if we look here on the third line down at the very first measure, we've got our C major. And then if we look at beat 4, right, there's our A7, there's our drop 3 secondary dominant going to the 2 chord. But look what's right before it. It's an E minor 7 flat 5. In drop 2, we end up on that D minor 7. Now that E minor 7 flat 5 is acting as a subdominant chord, right? It's a 2 chord to the A7's 5 chord. If A7 and D minor, if we consider that like a dominant tonic relationship, a 5-1 relationship, that E minor 7 is like a 2-5-1 to D minor. If we look at the next phrase, that F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to the B7 is like a 2-5-1 to E minor 7. This is real tonicization here. We are really, we're giving a lot of attention to each one of our diatonic seventh chords. You see this in tunes all the time. I mean, this is how most functional harmony is made, is by really like giving a lot of attention to these, quote unquote, new tonics. So you might notice something here. The two chords are a little different. If the two chord is heading to a chord that has a minor third, like a D minor 7, I'm going to use a minor 7 flat 5. The dominant chords remain the same. If it's going to E minor 7, that's a minor 7 flat 5. If we're going to a chord with a major third, like F major 7, we're going to use just a regular minor 7, G minor 7. If we're going to G7 that has a major third, we're going to use just a regular minor 7, no flat 5. But check it out. Going to the 6th chord, we're going to use that minor 7 flat 5. Also happens to be a diatonic 7th chord, which is nice. All right, let's try our secondary 2/5s, and then we're going to put it all together in one thing. And then buckle up, because we're going to take it through all 12 keys. All right, secondary 2/5s, 2, 3, and. Skip the 7th. Okay, let's try it again. And this time maybe think about, okay, we're heading to the 2, we're heading to the 3, we're heading to the 4. It's good work. Let's do it one more time. 2, 3, and. 2/5 to the 2, 2/5 to the 3, 2/5 to the 4, 2/5 to the 5, 2/5 to the 6. Skip the 7th because it's kind of weird to tonicize. We're back at the 1. All right, let's play the whole sheet down. With all of these warm-ups, we really want to try to just go all the way through and accept any mistakes that might happen. We want to come back to this again and again and again and again. So if you really can't get through something and you need to stop. You can pause the video, work it out. But we want to see if we can get through the whole page without stopping. From the top, 2, 3, and. We'll take a brief pause at the end of the first line just to let it rest. And from here on out, we'll go all the way through. 2, 3, and. To the 4, to the 5, to the 6, to the 1. All right, secondary 2/5s, 3, and. Beautiful. To the 5, to the 6, and we're back at the 1. How great is that? Isn't that beautiful? What a gorgeous warm-up. Can we do it in all the keys? Come with me. We're going up chromatically. Hang on to your hat. I hope you had something to eat. You might hydrate or caffeinate or inebriate, depending on where you are in life. Let's try it. 2, 3, and all the way through. All right, now the secondary dominants. 2, 3, and. To the 2, to the 3, to the 4, to the 5, to the 6. Now the 2/5s. 3, and. Beautiful key, D flat. How gorgeous is this key? And we're back at the 1. That's D flat for you. It's just one of the most beautiful keys. How about the key of D? Nice bright D. 2, 3, and straight up the diatonic 7th chords. And we do this just to get the feel of these important chords. Let's try the secondary dominants. 3, and. To the 2, two fives, 3, and. There's an effect that happens, this cumulative effect that happens when you take it through all 12 keys, where your intuition starts to play a role. You stop reading so much and you start hearing and figuring out what's happening. Now, mistakes are definitely going to happen, but that's okay. Mistakes are part of it. It's how we learn. You can stop and pause and figure it out, but there will be a time. The more keys we do, you just kind of feel your way. You know what shape is happening next. How about E flat? 2, 3, and. Secondary dominance, 3, and. Secondary 2 fives, 3, and. It's like it could happen to you. To the 4. To the 5. To the 6. And back to the 1. We are rolling along. Key of E. Here we go. 2, 3, and. You got it. Hard keys deserve our love too. Secondary dominance, 2, 3, and. Secondary 2 fives, 3, and. Look at that. Double sharp. Ugly. To the 6. Back to the 1. Well done. I told you, this is a good one. This is as good as it gets. Key of F. 2, 3, and. All right, the secondary dominance. 2, 3, and. See, we're about halfway done, and see how the shapes, they just start dialing in. 3, and. Very, very nice. Take a break, just 10 seconds. Shake it out. Again, hydrate, caffeinate, get some tea, get some sun. Take a big deep breath, yawn. G major, we're starting low. We're going to go way down here. It's going to be muddy. It's going to be beautiful. Let's try it. 2, 3, and. Try secondary dominance. 2, 3, and. Try secondary 2 fives, 3, and. It's pretty beautiful. on. Again, any mistakes, see if you can accept them and move on and come back to this exercise as a whole. Accepting mistakes. If you really don't get something in a key or any situation, you can, of course, always stop and figure it out. But again, see if you can accept mistakes and just keep moving on with a big smile on your face. Let's try the key of G major. 2, 3, and up the diatonic 7th chords. Very important setup. The secondary dominants. 2, 3, and. Those secondary 2 5s, 3 and. Gorgeous. Beautiful. So much fun. A flat. We're doing it. Here we go. 3 and. Secondary dominants. 2, 3 and. To the 2. To the 3. To the 4. To the 5. To the 6. Back to the tonic. Secondary 2 5s. 3 and. To the 2. To the 3. To the 4. To the 5. To the 6. Back to the tonic. Again, another note here that if a secondary 2 5 is going to a minor chord, we're going to have the 2 chord is going to have a flat 5. It's going to a chord that has a major third. It's going to have just a natural 5, just a regular minor 7. Key of A. 2, 3, and A. Secondary dominants. 2, 3, and. This is a workout. Secondary 2 5s. 3 and. Little mistake there, a little minor third when it should have been a major third, but we're going to smile and move on. Let it go. Key of B flat. 2, 3, and. You're doing great. It's not easy. Secondary dominants. 2, 3, and. Does anybody else feel that we're at this stage? I'm not even really thinking. Like the shapes just happen. 3 and. And that's kind of the point. These are very common cadences. If you are playing a tune in the key of B flat, chances are you're going to see something like any of these as part of the tune. Now you have some pretty good voicing options. An understanding of some good voice leading for each one of those. That's why it works so well. One more key. Here we go. Key of B major. This one sucks. This is just so hard to read. So let's see if we can do it. 2, 3, and. Secondary dominants. 2, 3, and. Secondary 2 5s, 3 and E sharp. Get out of here. To the 4 chord, to the 5 chord, to the 6 chord, and finally to the 1. That is it, my friends. Thank you so much. We will be back next time with one more harmonic warm-up. Till then, happy practicing. YouTube, what's up? Thank you, YouTube, for hanging. Super fun, eh? Not bad, yeah? So that's part of my new course called Genius Chord Warmups. That's going to be lesson 11, and it's really all about about those secondary 2 5s, getting them in our fingers. That was fun. I haven't been live in a long time. This is great. A Simple Tune says, great hair. Thank you. I was a little self-conscious about the hair when I went on. I'm not going to lie. A Simple Tune. I wasn't feeling it, but I appreciate that. Cool. How's everybody feel? How's everybody feel about the old that warm-up? Everybody cool? If you like this, if you like the live, let us know. Like and subscribe. We don't even know if people like lives anymore. We don't go live very often. It was a pandemic thing. But if you like this, please press that like button. And if you like the channel and you haven't subscribed to Open Studio, where you been? Give us an old subscription. Jeff Scott Jenkins, which is a great name, says, very cool on guitar, not worrying about inversions now. Nice. Nice. Thank you, Gabriel. Whedon Wine says, I still don't understand secondary dominance, soaking it all in, and I'm sure it'll click. Yeah, you know, I've had a lot of people talk about confusion on secondary dominance. It's really just a dominant chord that is connected to any chord, really, but I love to connect them to these diatonic 7th chords. You know, the diatonic 7th chords are any of those chords. If we take it back, let's get out of this silly B here. But if we take it back to C here, you know, these are all the chords that you can make, the diatonic 7th chords you can make in the key of C. And those secondary dominants, they're just a dominant chord that goes to each one of those. So D minor and A7, they're like hinged together. It's like a door and a door frame. You can't have one without the other. Like they need each other. B7 and E minor, like each one has their own special relationship. And so oftentimes if you see an A7, you can assume it's going to go a few places. The most common place would be some kind of D chord. And so that's why we work on these things together, these pairs, because they help. Weed Wine says, okay, one question. Is there a particular reason for the inversion choices in the exercise? Yes, because they sound pretty. I find that the prettier that I can make the exercise, the more beautiful it sounds, the more people like understand and are interested in sort of the science behind it or the theory behind it. So I try to make them really pretty. So to me, there's nothing more beautiful than that drop 3 dominant chord. Like you could do this. It sounds great, but it's got that kind of thing. That contrary motion on those outside voices weeding on, to me, that is like so beautiful. Just sounds great. Pablo likes live. What's up, Mozambique's in the house? Daoud from France, what's up? Gunnar says, I saw you using your 2, 4, 5th fingers on some chords. 2, 4. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I'll do this. If I have 2 black keys low, like that specifically, I was doing. Because I don't like that. This keeps me more here. Does that make sense? That's a good question, Gunnar. That's why I do it. All right. Thanks, y'all. This was super duper fun. Super duper fun. I don't know if I've said that since I was 6 years old. I have more lessons to record for this new course, so I'm going to go. But I appreciate y'all being here. It's really great to see everybody. I feel like a lot of y'all are like family. Spider fingers. Works, I guess. Yeah, I have a good spread for that, Gunner. It feels more comfortable than moving my wrist. So, but whatever works for you. Toomey says, does it make sense to change the starting inversion in the right hand as another exercise? Absolutely. So if you wanted to do, say, drop 3, so drop 3 would connect like that. It doesn't work as well. Like, it doesn't connect to from the secondary dominant to its target as well. It's fine. But I just love that. So I do that. But yeah, you can try any inversion, honestly. And try inversions too that are not where the tonic is not doesn't have a root. So you can do like this kind of thing, right? Especially for guitar players, that could work. Although there's some little clashes in there. AI Gorgeous says, any good advice for hearing the difference between a minor 6 and a minor 9th? I've been having a hard time hearing the difference between a minor 6 and a minor 9th. It's a pretty stark difference. So the minor 6 is it's that. The minor 9th is very tense. It's a minor 2nd above the octave. So I would listen for more tension. If you hear more tension, AI Gorgeous, then that's going to be a minor 9th. Max Faust Composer says, "Oh man, came in at the end." Well, we'll keep this up, Max. We'll trim it a little bit, but Pavel says, "Is there a PDF?" We could put a PDF on this. Yeah, we'll put it on. Here, I'll actually. We have the PDFs are up on the video itself, but yeah, we'll attach the PDF for this as well. Cool. Awesome. Any other questions about secondary dominants or secondary 2/5s or anything? Anything at all? No? All good? Thank you, everybody. Super fun. And yeah, maybe we'll go live again next time. This is really great. It's great to have the chat and to see you all and to talk about all this stuff. Catch you next time. Right on. Thanks, Piano Sam. Thanks, Weed and Wine. See ya. Cheers.